Hello everyone, welcome to the CIS Top 20 Control Series by Breaking Barriers Women in Cybersecurity. Today we will look into the details of control number 18, Application Software Security. Before we start with the control, let me introduce myself. I'm Aarti Nair. I have 10 plus years of experience. I started my career as a programmer and currently working as a technology risk and governance consultant. I hold certifications like Certified Information Systems Security Professional and Certified Information Systems Auditor. I'm quite passionate about learning and I love teaching. I'm a proud member of Breaking Barriers Women in Cybersecurity. Now let's look into the agenda for today's session. Uh, if you are referring the version 7.1 of CIS controls, application software security is numbered 18. And if you're referring version 8, then it is numbered 16. So in today's session, we will check the control definition, the risk associated, procedure and tools, application security testing tools, implementation groups, and the subcontrols. So let's get started. Before we check about control 18, let's understand what CIS controls are. CIS controls are launched by Center for Internet Security. These are a prioritized set of best practices that can actually form a defense in depth strategy to mitigate the most common attacks against systems and networks, and thereby enhancing the cyber defense strategy of an enterprise. So CIS controls are trifurcated into basic, foundational, and organizational controls. Controls 17 to 20 in version 7.1 are organizational controls. That makes control 18 also an organizational control. Organizational controls have technical elements, but they are less focused on technical controls and more focused on people and processes. Also, organizational controls are pervasive in that they must be implemented across the enterprise and across all of CIS controls 1 to 16. Now let's look into control 18, application software security. The definition says manage the security lifecycle of all in-house developed, hosted or acquired software in order to prevent, detect and correct security weaknesses before that they can impact enterprise. We have applications for all of our needs, be it e-commerce, be it banking, payment services, educational apps, or social media. Application provide a human-friendly interface, uh, friendly interface to allow users to access and manage data in a way that is aligned to the business function. They also minimize the need for an user to deal directly with complex and potentially error-prone system functions like logging into a database and inserting or modifying data files. Enterprises use applications to manage their most sensitive and critical data and control access to system resources. Therefore, an attacker can use applications itself to compromise the data instead of an elaborate network or system hacking sequence. Today, applications are developed, operated, and maintained in a highly complex, dynamic, and diverse environment. Applications run on multiple platforms, web, mobile, cloud. Development lifecycle have become shorter, transitioning from months or years in a long waterfall methodology to DevOps cycles with frequent releases. These factors make security inspection and testing more challenging. So let's look into why application software security control is critical. There can be application vulnerabilities that may arise due to insecure design. Design was not incorporated during the, security was not incorporated during the design or planning phase of the application. Now, the infrastructure that's supporting the application can also have vulnerabilities. Poor coding practices might have led to application vulnerabilities. Weak authentication mechanisms, failure to implement complex password requirements, or multi-factor authentication can also create vulnerability, and it can also be a favorable attack point for a malicious actor. Also, considering the rapid phase of the application or software development life cycle, unusual or unexpected conditions may not have been adequately tested. These all can lead to vulnerabilities and it can be exploited. So it can lead an attacker to gain access and compromise the sensitive data. It may lead to launch attacks such as buffer overflow, SQL injection, or cross-site scripting and cross-site request forgery because the input validation is not properly done, bound checking is not done. It can also help the attacker take control over vulnerable assets within the organizational infrastructure and make it a launching point for further attacks. Now, you can have applications where with proper or weak authentication mechanisms that will lead to harvest credentials, data, or it can even lead to attempt of installing malwares by a malicious actor. These are the applications vulnerabilities when an application is developed in-house. For applications that is acquired, wherein the software is developed by entities you do not have direct supervision or oversight, there can be several other risks as well. Like the application that you have acquired might have a software or a malware embedded in the software. There may be design or coding flaws exposing software vulnerabilities. This application with vulnerability that is acquired can lead to the disclosure of software or sensitive data. There can be unauthorized backdoor mechanisms because the code review or coding practices were not checked properly. Security verification of the outsourced vendor was not done properly. Your due diligence was improper, and that can also cause improper risk assessment by the vendor. The vendor is not establishing compliance with the required security metrics and service level agreement. Also, if you're buying a commercial off the shelf software, then it can be an attractive target because of the organization's dependency on it and also because of the high profile in the marketplace. Now, what are some procedures and tools to safeguard against such vulnerabilities? While developing the software itself in software development lifecycle, from the time the software is being conceptualized or planned, integrate security into the software development lifecycle, develop an application security program, and implement a vulnerability management process so that any vulnerabilities are identified earlier, the root cause of the issue is identified, remediated, and it is released as part of the bug fixing lifecycle itself. Also, integrate soft security. Security should be baked in during the software development lifecycle. That is cost effective rather than bolted on towards the final product phase. Now, you have to adequately train your developers in application security concepts, make them responsible for their coding practices, empower them to do secure coding practices by adequately train them in security concepts. This will actually lead them even be cognizant and responsible while choosing open sources or freeware libraries. Infrastructure, if it has any weaknesses or vulnerabilities, need to be identified and remediated at the earliest. Integrate threat modeling from the design phase itself. So threat modeling means it is a scenario analysis of threats in an application or product that is being developed. While it should be integrated from the design phase, it should be constantly reviewed throughout the life cycle to identify threats and remediate it at the earliest. Also offer bug bounty programs to users outside the organization to find flaws in the application. Review and keep yourself up to date with best practices from NIST, Secure Software Development Framework, WASP, Safe Code, Application Security Addendum, etc. Also, keep up to date with journals and bulletins regarding patch updates, vulnerabilities, and common software issues. Ensure you are complying with all the required licenses, you're not infringing any intellectual property, and you're not introducing any security vulnerabilities as such. Now, we will also take a look at application security testing tools. So there can be multiple or umpteen number of application security tools available in the market. Here I'm just giving a vendor agnostic feature of the common security testing tools. You need to identify the difference between these to ensure and implement the right tool for your product. For example, in the earlier development phases, like when the code is being developed, to test the code, since the code is available, you can use static application security testing, that is SAST. Also, you can even check for software composition analysis for your uh, for your open source libraries. Dynamic application security testing comes towards the later phase after the product is developed. So what is SAST, static application security testing? SAST automatically checks for vulnerabilities within the application source code, bytecode or binaries, line by line, ensuring security weaknesses are detected from the start and thereby reducing the fixing cost. So SAST is done towards the beginning phases of the software development lifecycle, while DAST is done once the product or the application is ready. So it's kind of called a black box testing, and it identifies vulnerabilities when the application is running. SAST is white box testing with the source code, and DAST is dynamic application security testing or black box testing with the final application. So in SAST analysis involves dynamic analysis of the application. It works to simulate some penetration tests like attacks to uncover exploitable vulnerabilities and business logic issues from a hacker's point of view. Since the scanning happens towards the end of the SDLC, the findings can be substantial and it costs us more time and money to fix security vulnerabilities because the application is already in production. Now, what is software composition analysis? Software composition analysis, it works alongside SAST, and it is a tool that analyzes the open source library component by detecting software licenses, and it evaluates the security and code quality of the open source library that is being used in the application. Now let's look into the implementation part of the controls. So application software security control has sub controls that needs to be implemented. CIS controls have come with this implementation groups, and these are a simpler way to manage an organization's security improvement program. So we have implementation group 1, implementation group 2, and implementation group 3 based on the organizational priorities. For an organization with limited resources and cybersecurity expertise, implementation group 1 is there. So implementation group 1 is defined as the essential cyber hygiene. This contains the foundational set of cyber defense safeguards that every organization should apply or to safeguard themselves against common cyber attacks. Implementation Group 2 is for organizations with moderate resources and cybersecurity expertise. And Implementation Group 2 is built on top of Implementation Group 1. Implementation Group 3 is for mature organization with significant resources and cybersecurity experience. And Implementation Group 3 comprises of all the safeguards. Now, going to subcontrols. So subcontrols are specific means and safeguards of implementing each of the controls in the control mentioned. So application software security has around 11 subcontrols. We will take a look at each of these controls. The control number 1 is establish secure coding practices. So it is appropriate to the programming language and the development environment that is being used, you should establish secure coding practices. Control number 2 says about ensuring explicit error checking is performed for all in-house developed software. So for applications that are developed in-house, ensure that error checking is performed and documented for all inputs, including the size, data type, and acceptable range of formats of the input. Control number 3 says about acquired software. It speaks about verify that the acquired software is still supported. So you keep on verifying the version of the software acquired from outside your organization and ensure that it is still supported by the developer or appropriately hardened based on the developer security recommendations. Control number 4 is about using up-to-date and trusted third-party components. So use only trusted third-party components for the software developed by the organization. Control number 5 is about using only standardized and extensively reviewed encryption algorithms. So while choosing your encryption algorithms, go for standardized and currently accepted and extensively reviewed algorithms rather than obsolete algorithms. Now, control number 6 says about ensure software development personnel are trained in secure coding. So you have to make sure your developers receive training in writing secure code for their development environment and make them responsible for their coding practices. Control number 7 speaks about apply static and dynamic code analysis tool. So apply static and dynamic analysis tools to verify that secure coding practices are being adhered to for internally developed software. Control number 8 speaks about establish a process to accept and address reports of software vulnerabilities. As I mentioned earlier during processes and tools, there should be a vulnerability management program that should be established to accept and address reports of software vulnerabilities, including providing means for external entities to contact your security group. Control number 9 is about separating production and non-production systems. Segregation of duties should be explicitly defined, and you should maintain separate environments for production and non-production while you ensure your developers do not have access to production environments. Control number 10 speaks about deploying web application firewalls. Considering applications, you have to protect these applications by deploying web application firewalls. You should inspect all traffic that is flowing to the web application for common web-based attacks. And you should also be ensuring that these applications are deployed if such tools are available. And the traffic should be encrypted for the device, either should sit behind the encryption or capable of decrypting the traffic prior to analysis. Now, control number 11 is about using standard hardening configuration templates for databases. For applications that rely on databases, use standard hardening configuration templates. All systems that are part of crucial business processes should be tested. So that's all about application software security control. I hope the session was helpful to all of you. I thank you for your time and wish you all a happy and blissful 2022.